Good evening, and welcome to Let's Talk Access, a social media program produced and presented by the UWI Open Campus. We do apologize for being a bit late, however, we were having some technical difficulties. These have now been resolved, and we are happy to be here with you this evening. I'm your co-host, Cherise Glasgow.
And good evening. I'm your co-host, Cleveland Sam. As Sherry says, Murphy's Law always kicks in at the most inappropriate time. But as she said, here we are, ready to go again. Thank you for joining us wherever you are on the World Wide Web this evening. The Open Campus hosted its 2021 graduation ceremony on Saturday, October 16, 2021. This evening, we speak with two recent graduates of the Open Campus, and they represent two of our Open Campus territories. We will hear their stories and experiences of studying at the UWI Open Campus.
Yes, Dr. Sam. We have two guests tonight. There are Calvin Moses from Trinidad and Tobago and Darrell Louis from St. Lucia. Gentlemen, welcome to Let's Talk Access. We are so happy to have you here with us this evening. We're going to let you tell us a bit about yourselves, who you are, and what you studied at the Open Campus. We'll start with Calvin.
Good night, everyone. My name is Calvin Moses, and I studied an associate degree in paralegal studies at the UWI Open Campus.
Darrell?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Darrell Louis, and I studied International Management, a BSc.
Okay, great. We know that this was our second year that we had our virtual graduation due to, the current state of the world. And we just want to get some feedback from you. How was your graduation experience? Calvin?
Okay, well, I watched the graduation video about 2 times. So the first time that I watched it, I was in my living room with my mother and my brother. And we sat and we listened to the chancellor speak. And then we waited until we heard Trinidad and Tobago, and then my name called. So the first time I heard my name called, the first time I watched it, I started running frantically around the house. Because I was like, oh my God, this is finally the moment that I've been waiting for. And then the second time now, I watched it by myself because I really had to take it in like, is this really real? And then there was a whole story about when I had to go to take the graduation picture. I actually went to the barber after taking the graduation picture because I was so nervous. I'm like, listen, I'm going to take this graduation picture first and then go to the barber after. So the second time I watched it, I was quiet, almost to tears, and was like overjoyed that, yes, this moment has finally come. And those were my experiences.
So Calvin, you had a do-over.
Yes.
After the picture.
Darrell, what about you?
I watched the graduation with my mother, my sister, my nephews, and I feel like they were more excited than I was. I mean, when I first signed up for the course, the very first time before even starting anything, I told some friends of mine, I'm ready for the graduation. I'm ready to walk that stage, even before having done anything at all. But I mean, it was definitely a good experience. I wanted to experience it, regardless of whether it was virtual. I wanted to see my face. And I was also happy to see the friends that I made, their faces being called. I think I made more noise for them than myself. My family made noise for me, but I made noise for my friends that I made during that period.
All right, sound like you guys had a lot of fun. When you recognized or when you learned that this was going to be a virtual graduation, what was your initial reaction?
I was upset. I
Sounds like
really had
Calvin.
that hope of going to another island to enjoy my graduation. I was hoping and praying, but that didn't happen, unfortunately.
Okay.
And I was during the graduation, I was also on the phone with some of my colleagues. We were WhatsApping. So
Right.
I felt it would have been way better if I was in their country rather than WhatsApping them.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
For me, I was disappointed because I really wanted to meet a lot of my peers that I met throughout my time period. And a few of us, St. Lucians, were actually trying to, well, if it was going to be face to face, make it a vacation somewhere we had never been before and just make it a total experience, not just on the day, but go a few days before or stay a few days after and, really take in whichever island we went to. So I was kind of disappointed, but had to make the best of the situation.
Right. So I'm going to put in a word for the Grenada Tourist Board. Graduation this year should have been in Grenada. So you can still go to Grenada for a vacation post-COVID and when you feel comfortable with your friends. There you go.
Now you see, I've never been to Grenada, so that would have been
Exactly.
excellent.
Exactly.
Yes, I would love to go to Grenada.
So you guys can still make it to Grenada, okay? The Spice Isle is waiting. All right, so the Grenada Tourist Board will send them a bill for the ad.
The
Right,
bill will
so
pay for their vacation.
there you go, exactly. Right, let's go back to 3-4 years ago, whenever you sign up for this course. Why did you choose the open campus of all of the thousands of universities across the world? Why did you choose the UWI Open Campus to pursue your studies?
Darrell, you want to go first, though? All right, I'll go. I chose the UWI Open Campus for many reasons. First of all, I was doing a paralegal course elsewhere, and it was an England-based program, and it stopped. And when it stopped, the secretary actually told me about UWI Open Campus. And when I went to UWI Open Campus and I saw the course outline, I was like, wow, this is way better than what I was doing before. It's affordable. It's going to be online, so I can just rush home and get work done rather than having to rush to a class and then rush home and then rush to work. So that, all in all, that is why I chose the UWI Open Campus.
Okay, convenience, affordability.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I too will agree that the convenience of being able to stay in your job, in my job, and still study was something that was interesting to me. The cost was excellent in my opinion. So these were the two major aspects that made me see that, okay, this is where I want to go. So I don't have to leave the job to actually go, with all the uncertainty. I could stay and I would just have to balance my time properly and get it done.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Payment plans, I must add, sorry. Payment plan. As soon as I heard about the payment plan, I was like, okay.
Done deal.
Definitely, done deal.
I have to agree.
Can you explain to our viewers what you mean by payment plan?
Okay, so the payment plan at the UWI Open Campus allows you to make part payments, let's say in 3 months. So the first month you pay a third, the second month you pay the next third, and the third month you pay the last third. And I heard that even in COVID times, there was a 4-part payment. So
Yeah,
which was even better. And
exactly.
I don't think other schools, sorry, was offering it. So
Good. And you took advantage of that.
clearly, yes, definitely.
Okay.
We both did then.
Oh, there you go, Daryl.
Oh, and then later, after having benefited from the part payment, I heard about the Gill grant. So it was like, oh my gosh, you all, I'm in heaven.
So you applied for the Guild grant
Yes, I did.
and you were
And
successful.
I was successful, and it was a great help.
Well,
Great.
kudos to the Guild. I am sure that the current president, Mr. Norris Atwell, may be listening. And the last president, Mr. Leon Dawson, who would have,
Yes.
right, who would have been the president under whose tenure that happened. So kudos to the student guild of the Open Campus. I'm happy to hear that you actually benefited from these mechanisms that were put in place to make your education more affordable.
Yes.
So gentlemen, based on your studies and based on your current career path, are you going to continue along that trajectory? So you can tell us a bit more about what you study and how that pertains to what you are doing now and what you plan to do.
Well, I studied international management, and it really isn't based on my job, but I really wanted to learn something outside the normal scope of the general management. So I wanted to learn something on the international management, just in case I end up in another country working someday in the foreseeable future. So that was why I chose that particular course. And yeah, that's basically it.
So what do you do now, Daryl?
Oh, I work with the government of St. Lucia.
Okay.
Calvin?
Okay, so I did an associate degree in paralegal studies, and currently I work in a law office in Shagona as a law clerk. So a law clerk is more or less you don't need any qualifications really to be a law clerk, but in order to move up, and my goal is actually to become an attorney.
Right.
But again, because UWI Open Campus was so affordable, and I wanted to do a program that is not the LLB, but somewhere in the middle there to keep going until I can afford to do the LLB. I said, let me do the associate degree in paralegal studies. And a paralegal can do a little more than a law clerk. Although law clerks do what paralegals can do, paralegals do a little more. So yes, I will be staying in a law office. Hopefully, I don't know if my employers are looking and my future employers are looking at this. So I have an associate degree in paralegal studies from the UWI Open Campus, a very recognized university, and I would like to move forward. So I don't mind doing law clerk and something extra.
Yes, you market yourself. Very good. Dr. Sam?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cherise. Okay, gentlemen. Of course. And it's gonna be live, it's gonna be posted all over social media after tonight as well. So there you go. So how would you describe your overall Open Campus experience? Daryl, I'm gonna ask you first. How was the overall Open Campus experience?
I cannot really complain about the experience, to be honest. I'm trying to think of bad experiences, but I mean, the most that could come up is as everybody would agree, group work. But
Group work.
but for me, it wasn't as bad as other people have said, because I had some really good groups. I mean, you'd find maybe one or two people off, but then that's in the beginning, and then everybody would just come together. But my overall experience was great. I The entire program was interesting. The tutors, the CCs were great. I mean, I can't really think of anything negative per se to say about UE, the UE Open Campus, in all honesty.
Great. We don't want you to say anything negative. We just want to know what the overall experience was like. So that's great. Calvin.
The overall experience at the UWI Open Campus was wonderful. In French, we say formidable. I can't explain it in English. It was just too good. From entering the UWI Open Campus, online classes, my teachers were wonderful. I mean, teachers not only I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, as you all can see.
Of course.
But I had teachers from Jamaica, teachers from Belize, and imagine these are lawyers teaching me. Lawyers were teaching me. Right. I even had a magistrate from Belize taught me.
Okay.
It was just amazing. I mean, and apart from the academic side, there was UWI games.
We'll get on to that later. Because I know you are fully involved.
Yes.
Go
ahead,
not only that, there was, sorry.
Go ahead.
There was karaoke, there was games night, OC got stars. I mean, UWI Open Campus was one institution or one university that allowed me to be myself while still pursuing my goals.
Great. Daryl, you were jumping on?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to add was that in the beginning, learning the different cultures was a bit different for me, because people have different ways of communicating and sharing and stuff like that. So in the beginning, but as time went by and you grew to understand the different cultures, it made it a lot better for all of us.
All right. So I just want to remind our viewers that there's the application period for the January 2022 semester is still open, and you have until the 30th of November for postgraduate applications, December 15th for undergraduate applications, and you can log on to www.apply.open.uwi.edu to complete your application form. So there you go, postgraduate applications, the 30th of November, undergraduate applications, the 15th of December to submit your application forms. And of course, you can check out our social media pages for the link to apply now and complete your application. Everything is online. Now, before I bring back in Cherise, gentlemen, I want to ask you a provocative question. This is the first time we are having an all-male panel for our recent graduates. We have had one male, I think, on a previous program, but most of the guests have been female. Why do you guys think that there is such a disparity between the number of females versus the number of males who attend the university? Let's have a chat about that for a few minutes.
I don't know, maybe most men are more inclined to go in more technical fields, maybe. It could be that, or they just maybe not interested in those aspects of education, maybe. They're more technical.
Okay. I'll come back to you, Daryl, but Calvin, your initial thoughts?
That's a very good question. Well, in most of my classes, the ratio of male to female clearly there were more women than men. I really don't. Probably because time, I don't know, women make good use of their time. I'm not saying that men don't.
Right. You said they're better time managers.
Yeah, they are better time managers. So they could organize, as in the recent panel, the former panel of women, they were they had to do housework, then they worked, then there were children involved.
They were wives, they were mothers.
They were wives and mothers, so
right.
Better time management, I guess. And not a lot of men have the opportunity to go to further their education. I don't know why, maybe because their job is a little more demanding and doesn't give them that time, or probably they have a lot of responsibilities.
Right. So the woman, I mean, you yourself said that last week they spoke about all the different things that they do.
But for some reason, women know how to manage their responsibilities a little better than us.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Darrell, you said that you work in the government of St. Lucia, so I imagine you're in the public service. I mean, do you speak with other males in your job, or other males in your networks generally? And how do they feel about furthering their studies?
Not everybody is open to it, because as I said in a previous statement about my experience, you become comfortable in your job, and sometimes that comfort, you don't want to pursue anything else because you're so comfortable making money, getting promoted, and you don't see a reason why you should further your education and put yourself through that stress and that rigor and all that, when you can just gain the experience and then eventually just get promoted. But what I've realized in this day and age is that they're taking both experience along with education now. So that sometimes gives people the edge over those who just have the experience.
All right, I'm going to throw out a challenge to both of you again. What would you say to males who are watching this program this evening in terms of encouraging them to take the path that you have taken?
Never settle. They should, if they feel like they can do it, they should try, especially with where the world is going right now with education. A lot of people are educating themselves so that they can have the edge with not only experience, but have a combination of the two. And I mean, listen, gaining a BSc is lovely. You get to learn a lot of things and you get to experience a lot of different things. So they should not be afraid or have doubts in themselves. I too had doubts in the beginning, but then I faced my fears and then I just jumped right in. And it was an excellent experience.
Calvin, what message would you give to other men who are? I know all the fellas in the Open Campus Sports Chat watching for you, Calvin, tonight.
Well, I am glad you said that, because also I was a prefect when I was in secondary school. So in case, and I went to all boys school as well.
Right.
In case all of them are watching, and they know I like to talk about education and to better yourself. There's nothing wrong in bettering yourself. There's nothing wrong in learning something new. Progress is needed. Education is needed for progress. Don't say, because yes, you may push others to do it, but you can do it for yourself. Again, it's not all about the yes, sports is good and all of that, but yeah, I'd like to talk about balance. Everything is a balance. And education is needed in balance. So you might be young, people might have told you so many things. I mean, the associate degree in paralegal studies is my first degree. It's actually my first degree. So
Okay.
it doesn't matter what you've been through, what you are going through, try it.
All right. So I'm going to bring back in Cherise, but I want to make an interesting observation. And I don't know if this may have anything to do with it at all, that both of you attended all boys school. Because I learned earlier that Darrell attended an all boys school in St. Lucia. And
St.
Calvin,
Mary's
you
College.
just said that, yeah, St. Joseph's, St. Mary's
St.
College.
Mary's College.
And you, Calvin?
Fatima College.
Fatima College. And just to throw something in there, I attended the St. Vincent Grammar School, an all-boys school as well. So there you go. I wonder if this has something to do with the fact that both of you are on this program tonight. Anyways, that is for another discussion. Cherise.
Yeah, Dr. Sam, I attended the all-girls school, but only primary.
There
Okay?
you go.
But only primary. Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
I just want to continue by asking you, what would you say would be a highlight of your journey, your experience at Open Campus? What would you say would be that one moment when you think back on your program or your journey? For Calvin, it would probably be for 2 years for the associate degree. I'm not sure how long your journey was, and for Darrell, 3+. Just give us one thing you can remember as your highlight.
For me, and I mean, I always tell this story. It was my very first semester, and I was doing sociology. And it was our first graded assignment, and I was not sure where to look for the grades and everything. So we did the initial discussion and we replied to our peers. And I was unsure, like I said. So in scrolling through one day, I saw a 1 out of 10 at the bottom of my discussion. So I was like, what, 1 out of 10? So then I immediately emailed my tutor and said, is that the grade? Because I'm seeing 1 out of 10. So she emailed me back and said, where am I seeing it? I said, at the bottom of my discussion. So then eventually she emailed back and said, no, this is not your grade. So I asked her, what is the grade? And she said, 10 out of 10. And then she put a smiley face right next to the email. And then I was so excited because I was like, okay, so I can actually do this thing here, because when I saw the one, I had total doubts. I was like, okay, this is not for me. But then in
Great.
learning that I got 10 out of 10, I realized, okay, you know what? I can actually do this program.
Awesome, awesome.
Okay, my highlight would be from one of my lower courses. We did an assignment and everybody failed the assignment. Everybody. And Miss was like, you all did not imagine a whole class, and nobody spotted 2 particular issues in that assignment. The whole class was downgraded and everybody was like, but how? At that moment, I was like, okay, well, if I didn't spot it and the whole class didn't spot it, okay, well then we're going down, we're on the right track. At least, it's not only me. And then Miss said, she came and she went through the assignment with everybody and she said, well, this is how and this is how, and that just, it was like, even though everybody failed, Miss didn't come and just buff us up. She was like, okay, this was a little difficult to spot, and this is how you spot the issues, and in future, this is how you're supposed to. So I think that was the highlight of my UWI Open Campus experience.
Okay, great. So I want to follow up on Cherise's question, but I want to zoom in more on the actual programs that you did. In terms of, for you, what would you say was the best aspect of the actual program? I know you did paralegal, Darrell did international management, but what was the best aspect of the actual program? I know Darrell spoke about group work, and I know, I mean, some of us know the pains of group work and the joys of group work, because, you know, I have had quite a lot of positive experiences from group work. So in terms of the actual program that you did, what would you say was like the best aspect coming out of that?
Well, for me, it was learning the management styles on an international level. As I said, I didn't want to just do the general management. I know in learning on the international level, I would get both the general and the international. So that was really the key part for me. And that was on my third level, where it had a lot of the international human resource, international marketing management, international business management, international financial management. So that was really the key part for me there, really learning the aspects of management on an international level.
Great. So you came away feeling as if you can go to an international management job and function. Sorry, you're muted.
Definitely.
Oh, great, great.
Okay, so for me, it would be the discussions and some of the assignments. Now, taking into consideration, I did an associate degree in paralegal studies. Law has to do a lot with like arguments and giving your side of the story.
Right.
And backing that up with facts.
Okay.
So the discussions were you answer the discussion and then you reply or you critique two of your peers. And I find that was really helpful. Like in doing that, you understand how their opinion and then your opinion, and you looked at how they backed up their opinion. So, and then in the assignments now, you actually felt like, okay, an attorney is giving me an assignment. So I felt like it was theory and practical in one, you know? An attorney is giving me an assignment. I have to get this assignment done to hand over to the attorney to be graded. She might probably use it when she's doing he or she is doing their, you know?
Yeah.
Paying for court. You never know. You never know.
Never know. All right. Cherise.
Yes, just to highlight something that was said on our Facebook platform regarding the disparity between men and women in the classroom, DG said, men look at pursuing further education in terms of classroom hours, whereas women look at it in terms of the benefits of capacity building and other long-term gains. So that's an interesting perspective.
Very.
So our next question to you guys will be, tell us, how did you cope with learning online in terms of that balance between your work, your schooling, and your other commitments, be it family or professional?
For me, it took, in the beginning, it was hard, especially being new to it all. You figure you have time until you realize the time goes by quickly, especially when you have several things to do. So you really have to manage your time properly, focus. I had to make sacrifices, things that I normally love doing. I had to put it aside and then just focus, because I knew that the goal was to do this in a particular period of time. So I just had to make sacrifices.
Great.
okay, it was a lot because it's working, it's studying, it's trying to find that balance. And then when you come home from work, sometimes you're tired, and then you have to go online and listen to a lecture. Thank God the lectures were recorded, but then you have to find time to listen to the recordings and stuff. But it was manageable. The only thing I did not like was having to go into UWI Open Campus to do the exam.
Okay.
I honestly do not like exams. I just feel they are just designed to make you nervous but so thank God, sorry to say, but thank God for the pandemic that now we have the final assessment instead of the exam, because I do much more better.
You're not an exam person.
I have to agree with him with being an exam, not an exam person. And thank God for that was one of the positives of the pandemic, actually. No exams was excellent.
All right. Never waste a good pandemic, eh? All right. So believe it or not, we only have about 13 minutes to go. And I want to talk about something Calvin mentioned earlier, because we are the open campus. We are known for being the online campus. But what a lot of people are not aware of is that we actually have a very strong and robust student life. Were you guys involved in student life at all? I know Calvin probably has a whole book on student life, but let me start with you, Darrell. Were you involved in any student activities?
Unfortunately, no, I was not.
Okay.
The time and so many things to do, I was unable to take part in the extracurricular activities that the school offered. Not that I didn't want to, because I'm a sports fan, but
Okay.
then I just couldn't do it at the time.
All right. Well, I know Calvin did so many different things. He probably did for both you and him. So Calvin, tell us about your involvement in student life at the open campus.
Well, I was very much involved.
Yes, I see you in this photograph.
Very much involved. As you can see, I'm there in UWI games, enjoying myself, meeting other people. I did athletics. I ran the 4x1 relay. We came third, by the way, because somebody was disqualified. That's us there with gold medals. Well, sorry.
The bronze medal.
Bronze medals. And I also did long jump, but I don't have pictures of that. Oh, well, this was OC got stars, Christmas. I sang. I also did poetry a lot. Yes, Mother's Day poem.
And these are all our virtual concerts, yes?
Yes.
All right. So you were very involved in the student life at the open campus. How was that? For example, the student games, you got to travel to Jamaica to spend a week. Describe that experience?
That experience was absolutely wonderful. As we say in French, formidable. I went there, I met so many wonderful people. We even had culture night where we all came together and everybody expressed their culture in different ways, whether it be song, dance. We had a dance on Believe. I learned so much, so much. And we came together, we sang. We actually came up with a song on the spot. Well, not on the spot, sorry, but we rehearsed a song, taking it from Kes. We changed up Kes' song a little bit. And it was really, really good. It was awesome. You should have been there, Daniel. really should have been there.
Yes, I can attest to that. So again, just to remind our viewers and prospective applicants that the application period for the January semester intake is open, and the period runs up until the 30th of December for postgraduate applications and December 15th for undergraduate applications. You can log on to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as our website to find all the application information to apply. All right, we have 9 minutes. Guys, how did you find the learning exchange? Because this is where you did all of the work. How easy or difficult was it to navigate the learning exchange?
In the beginning, it was a bit difficult, but with the help of some friends, they showed me where to go. Although they didn't show me where to get those grades, that's why I had issues, you know. But I mean, in terms of getting into the course and stuff like that, it was fairly simple to look at your transcript, go to the library, you know. So it was fairly simple.
All right, Calvin,
The
how did
learning
you find
exchange,
navigating the learning exchange?
to me, I find it was very organized, but the technical difficulties every now and then. But it was very, I find it is very organized. And you know, at the start, the tutor-student exchange, then meet your classmates, then there's your class news and announcements always at the top. You always want to keep checking that. And then each week, you know, the teacher would outline what we're doing for each week. And then you'll have your assignments and your readings for each week. And then for assignments, there was a submission box. And well, you know, you have to submit on time else.
11:59.
Yeah. So it was really organized and really easy to maneuver.
Great, great. All right, Charisse.
So you all can tell us quickly, what have you been doing since you've completed your studies? You're catching up on series, going to the beach?
I have actually been trying to, you know, look at some postgraduate programs, whether it's masters or certificates,
Nice.
a diploma. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to really pinpoint what I want to do past this first degree. But also, I've been enjoying the free time to relax and catch up on the sports and series and all these things that I had to sacrifice back then.
Great.
That sounds great, yeah.
Well, as you know, I did an associate degree in paralegal studies, and there were some courses that I really wanted to cover that are available in the summer courses. Things like business law and company law. So right now I am actually doing one of the undergraduate law courses, summer courses.
Very nice, yeah.
Okay. All right, and going forward, what advice would you give to prospective students who are still thinking about starting their studies, perhaps in January or next September?
I would tell them that, one, you're never too old to educate yourself. So just start. And when you start and create a plan and understand that, you know, I always like to use that word, sacrifices. Sacrifices need to be made. I mean, the sacrifices are not for forever. It's just for a short period of time. So just understand that to meet your goals, that sacrifices need to be made. but just start. No matter how old you are, if you feel like you want to, don't let anybody discourage you. Just believe in yourself and it'll all fall into place.
Great.
My advice to you is now is the time. January is the time. January is the place. January is the moment. January is just that. Start preparing yourself mentally, but start. If you need some help, ask somebody. Ask me. I went to UWI Open Campus.
All right, just start. All right, I have some comments on the WhatsApp for you guys. Calvin, somebody said that you should get a scholarship to do your law degree. I hope you do, you know, and you'll do it at the University of the West Indies as well. And this person said that they also went to an all-girls school. So there you go. And they said also that you guys are precious ambassadors for the UWI Open Campus. I totally agree with that. So kudos to you all for being ambassadors to the Open Campus. And this person who is an educator is encouraging the Open Campus to keep the assessment that was adopted for the pandemic, because it also tends to be gender sensitive. As you all said, a lot of males do not necessarily like written exams. They prefer to do the continuous assessment. All right. So Charisse, it's up to you now to wrap up.
Yes, we just want to thank you both, Calvin Moses from Trinidad and Tobago and Darrell Louis from St. Lucia. We, on behalf of the marketing and communications team at Open Campus, as well as the Open Campus wider community, we want to wish you all the very best in your future endeavors and continue to wave those Open Campus flags high. And we also want to say thank you to our technical, yes, Galvin. We also want to say thank you to our technical team, Richard Barth, Marcia Reed, and Patrick Johnson, who worked in the background. And until next time, I'm Charisse Glasgow.
And I'm Cleveland Sam. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.